everybody, it's the Redstone Wizard here again, bringing you another Redstone tutorial. What I got for you is the shulker box splitter, well, the linear shulker box splitter. Now, I did do a showcase on this, so just a quick rundown. We're going to take items in shulker boxes, we're going to throw them in a chest, and we are going to sort them based on certain aspects of it, as in what is the first item in the system, because that is going to get sorted out into that slice until everything is done processing. And we have a timer specifically to be able to hold whenever it happens. And if it doesn't go, if there is no items of that type in there, it's just going to go to the next slice and just keep going and going and going until it ends up in this chest, which then sends it right back to here to hold it until they're ready. And we're just going to check and see if there are any items in it. And that's what this does. So, and I do have it broken down into its material components. It's really two major components. So, what do you say, guys? Let's get to building this thing. All right, guys, we're back. Everything we need to build that is in these boxes. There is some slight changes in whatever it is, but for the most part, this box right here, you're going to take and multiply by how many slices you want. You don't have to use just one. You could use 10, 20, 27. The amount of slices is up to you. And these two are as is because they're that part and that part right there. Some of these are you add on, but you keep, like the ice. The ice is just as far as you want it. You're gonna however you want to store them, because over here I've got them just going into a chest when they're done sorting out, including the non-stackables, and if a box happens to go through there. So now, I'm going to break this video up into 3 different parts. The first part is we are going to be doing the splitter itself. I'll explain how you can adjust it. And the adjustment is only if you build a second one. How to sort out items that stack up to 16. Pretty much you build this and there's only 2 things that change. And when we get to those parts, I'll explain what those are. The second part is going to be our start system. The system that holds it and then starts the system over. And the last one is going to be our end system, the one that sets the reset to say start. So, first things first. Now this, you're going to need this times the amount of slices you want. You're going to need 21 filter items and 20 secondary filter items, 4 pieces of packed ice, 4 7 stained glass. Not all of it has to be glass. Some of it does. You're going to need 15 repeaters, 21 redstone dust, 42 solid blocks, 22 observers, 5 well, you're going to need at least 2 dispensers, and the 3 are used for updates. 6 droppers, 9 sticky pistons, 4 redstone torches, 2 buckets of powdered snow, 6 pistons, 15 comparators, 21 hoppers, 2 barrels, 9 rails, powered or activator, and yes, you can swap them between the 2. 2 non-sticky solid blocks, glazed terracotta or obsidian would work. I'm using cauldrons here, but you can use anything that has a container. 1 slab, 1 stair, a double chest, 3 redstone blocks, a slime block, and if you're using and then something to get you a signal strength from your container. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we're just going to leave those here. And now we're just going to build up over here so that I don't have to worry about getting rid of those. Okay, first things first. You're obviously going to need water and ways to stop the water from being able to flow backwards. So that is up to you. So what we're going to do is set up our ice. You can set it up right here. This pretty much will make it where only one high will work. But from here, we're going to go and place a stair facing down. We'll grab our our blocks, and we're just going to cover up all of this area. We'll leave this one alone. And there we go. And you put your water stream in here to be able to process. We'll grab our droppers. If you need to temporarily place a block here, to be able to get the dropper pointing towards the stair, that's fine. We'll just come back under here, cover that up. You can fill that in there, even though you don't need to. But for aesthetic purposes, you can. Oh, I did forget one thing that we are going to need. We are also going to need a minecart with a hopper. Then we're going to take our hoppers. We're going to place a hopper down right here. Take a solid block, put it right there and right there. Any block you want there. Grab yourself your observers again. Place one pointing towards here and one up here. This will create a clock, and which will power this dropper once we place a piece of dust here. Now to activate the clock, we need our comparator, and reading from the comparator, we are going to place a sticky piston pointing down. So now, anytime an item comes in here, it's going to pulse and the items will be dispensed out. So next, we're going to place a solid block here, and we'll temporarily place a block here and put a hopper pointing down. Grab a rail, place it down, and we can just temporarily block that off. And take your minecart and place it right on top of the rail and break the rail. Now, depending on how good you are, you might not need to use this little trick, but I'm not that good, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to place a iron fence, iron bars there, and then just push it from this corner over to it, and then I can break it. Now, these are done. Now we're going to grab our torches. Throw a torch right there, which is going to lock that. Next to here, we're going to place 2 more blocks and a block up. Dust on these back 2 with a repeater on this first one. Put a solid block on top of this dust, and a transparent block has to be transparent on this one with a solid block behind it. And then we'll throw a comparator right here. Now, this is just to speed the process up. We're just going to put 2 there. We're going to put solid blocks in between and a solid block in front of this one. And there we go. And over here, a solid block with 2 blocks there, a comparator, and a repeater, and a solid block there with a torch under there. This is just going to unlock the hopper that we will be placing right there in a moment. Next is we're going to need our observers. We're going to place 2 observers here, come down to the bottom, leaving a gap. We're going to place 2 blocks there, put dust on this back part, and a 4-tick repeater on this front part. A dropper will go pointing towards the bubbles, towards the ice stream, and a dispenser will be pointing upwards. Now you could take and place your powdered snow right here and cover up those 2, and your next slice is actually going to be going right here. So then we're going to take our piston, and we're just going to smack it right on top of there. And at this point, if you want to make it a little easier on you, get yourself your favorite color shulker box and smack it down right there, because we're going to take and put a hopper going right into it. Or you could just place a temporary block, something just so you can place the piston there. I recommend something that could be broken by the piston, because we're lazy and smart. Then we're going to place a glass block there, and we're going to throw a comparator there. Grab ourselves our sticky piston, and we're just going to put it right there. We'll grab an observer, pointing it this way with a solid block in line right here with the dust. So when this gets to a certain point, it's going to, right now, any items that end up here is going to break that. We need to stop that, so we're going to come over here, place 2 blocks. This one has to be transparent. So slab, glass, glowstone, and a repeater there. Now, grab yourself your hoppers, and we're going to put a hopper into the side of here, a hopper going down, and I'm just temporarily placing these hoppers because then we're going to make a hopper line from one end all the way to the other end, because this hopper line is what's going to hold our boxes. And we'll let that filter through. Then we're going to place a sticky piston pointing up with a redstone block. Now, if you don't feel like using a redstone block here, you can use a container, but the container must reach a signal strength of 15, or you can have it set where it's 14, and if it is 14, you have to put this in subtract mode. Because I have it set for 15, I'm good there. So now we're going to take our barrels. We're going to place 1 barrel here and grab hoppers and run it all the way back to here. Now take these 20 filter 2 items and throw them in the last slot. That's just going to prime the system to determine if it is a full stack item, partial stack item, or a non-stackable item. If it's a non-stackable item, it's not going to go further. It's going to continue on, and this signal is going to turn this torch off, which then is going to take and put the item right in here, which I have to nudge this just ever so slightly. There. Oh, looks like I have to nudge it the other direction. Okay. Yep. And boom. Dispenses out. And that's all we need. We need to make sure it dispenses out. So then we're going to take and place a hopper here with another barrel going on top of that and a hopper going into the side. Then we're going to come around and grab our comparators. We're going to come around to this back side. Reading out this barrel, we're going to place a comparator with a repeater set to 4 ticks in the same line. This doesn't have to be salt. This doesn't have to be a glass. Then we're going to grab our observers, and we're going to place an observer reading out of that repeater and one going up. Then we're going to place a solid block next to it with an observer powering there. Now we will grab our pistons. We're going to place 2 pistons pointing up. One with a glass block above it, like this. And then we're going to grab our cauldrons and a solid block. A solid block there. Another block there. And a cauldron there. And let me grab my potion. And we're just going to fill the potion up. So now what happens is when the system needs to reset and no items have gone through, it's going to lock. This will determine that an item has gone through this slice of the cyclic sorter. So then we can just come up here, go up 2 blocks, leaving a block gap, put pistons going down, throw a solid block on here, and one in the back, and throw dust. That'll power both of those to reset that. Now grab whatever blocks you want, and we're just going to place 2 rails there. Now we're going to do the reset line so that if there is any items in here, it's going to break it when it's done. So we're going to take our observers. We're going to place one there. It's going to, building this is not going to do anything. And we're going to place another one, a solid block there, with our updater. And because I want this to be silent, I'm going to throw a dispenser with a piece of bone meal in it. Why? The bone meal will not fire, and will stay in there. That's the only reason. Then I'm going to place an observer with another dispenser and bone meal. Now, just to show you what's going to happen is boom, and the bone meal's still there. It's going to be silent. So then we're going to place a redstone block up top with a sticky piston powering it. Okay, so now, here's the thing. When you're doing this, you want to start from the very end. So if this is your first one, you want to at least make sure that this line's powered here. That it's powered one way or another. The observer pointing this way with it in there. Solid block. However, this piston needs to be powered. Or you could do it the way I did it and end up splitting them up like this. Now this one will go right here. So, boom, and then we have our rails going off of that one, and that's the next line. And it just continues going on. So, let's just say we're going to 2 blocks, boom, break, boom, and a solid block, observer, and then 2 more, and rail there, 2 more there. That'll just hold it there, allowing us to control. Now, when you're building the second one, you don't need to do every single one. You can actually split the workload of the same item between 2 of them. So this reset line is working for both lines, which actually makes it great. Then we're going to take, and above this block, we're going to place a observer with a solid block, a dropper, and a hopper going into the dropper, and a comparator reading out. And yes, the same thing. So pretty much these the 2 next to each other, they're going to be using the same pull system here. Now the one thing I didn't realize I forgot is you do need a random item in here. It doesn't matter what it is, because as soon as we power, it's going to push these down. Perfect. So now we're just going to throw 2 hoppers on top of this one. We're going to put 2 comparator, this has to be a transparent block. I prefer glass, and this could be whatever you want. We're going to place a solid block behind it with another block here we're going to take our repeaters. We're going to throw it there. Grab our dust and put 2 pieces of dust there and throw a glass block on top, transparent block on top of the dust. If you're using a slab, make sure it's a top slab, and a solid block on top of that. And we're just going to point a comparator into there. Then we're going to take our redstone blocks, place one right there, which is going to lock this hopper. We're going to take our slime blocks. We're going to put the slime block right here with a piston, a sticky piston, right behind it. We're going to throw a transparent block here. So these two have to be transparent, and put dust on both of these with a comparator reading out. Now take your 21 items and fill up the last 4 slots. So now we got a filter set. This is going to filter out everything in there. So now we need to protect whatever we're going to use from the slime block. So we're just going to cover those two up with I'm using black glazed terracotta. We're going to put a solid block there. Actually, it doesn't have to be solid. Any block you want. And we're going to put a repeater set to 4 ticks with a solid block behind it. Grab another torch and throw it right, boom, there. That's just going to hold that. A solid block there. And here we're going to put a repeater. And then we're going to put a temporary block here because we are going to take, actually, let's wait on that. And then we're going to, let's just take another dispenser. And this dispenser is going to have a piece of bone meal in it for quietness. With a dust on top. We'll put 2 dusts there. And we need to block that off. So we're going to place a solid block on top of that and another one on top of that with a torch. Now we're going to take our slab or glowstone. Put a temporary block there with the slab there and put a dust there. Now on top of this dust, just place your repeater and grab an observer and just place it on the side of that, and we're going to put one there. Put a solid block on the head. Now we're going to grab our regular pistons and we're just going to put a piston right there. That's to break it. Now we need to take our, set this to 3 ticks. And we're going to come back and we're going to put a dropper, leaving a 1 block gap. We're going to double up on our droppers here. We're going to put 2 droppers going up and flip this hopper going that way. Leaving a 1 block gap, we're going to put an observer pointing down from right there with an observer on its face. Any block you want, we're going to leave a gap here. And next to this dropper, we're going to place another observer with a comparator going in the other direction. Grab your rails and go 1, 2, and we're going to place an observer. One going up, one going over, and then 2 more. 1, 2. Come back around here, place an observer going into a solid block. Grab your dispenser. Come back around here and place your dispenser with a hopper going into the side, a double chest where shulkers will be placed into the system, and place it there. And then a temporary block with a hopper. Take these out, and these parts of the system line up and they do connect accordingly. And then we're just going to grab our powdered snow and place it there. Now, we're going to place a solid block here, a block down here, just to be able to hold it, a solid block up, and a block here. We're going to take a comparator, and then a repeater. Then we're going to come back around here, place a comparator, going into a solid block, with, next to the comparator, this bottom one, we're going to line up there, and we're going to put dust on that, and that's just going to create a call-out, keeping it powering the whole time, while items are in this dropper. On top of this comparator, just to make it easy, just place the observer and a rail behind it. That's going to allow it to cycle. And it's going to keep cycling until then. We're almost done here, so all we need now is a sticky piston. Put it right on top of that and grab an observer. Leaving a block gap, we're going to place a solid block up with a dropper. And this dropper will have one item in it and a hopper going into it. Solid block next to it, and we're going to grab our glass, even though you don't need to have glass. Glass, and a solid block. A comparator reading out, which will pull a signal from there. A dust here, and a dust here, and then the last bit is three tick repeaters. Okay, so there we go. We got this done. This is the first slice of the sorter itself. So if we test this, if I take and throw this here and grab a empty and just throw a box in, box will be displayed, and then quickly check to see, and it'll end up in here if it doesn't get sucked up in here. Now, if we take and put items in here, like this bone meal, for instance, and throw it in, boom, it'll set up for a filter, and those items will start getting pulsed and start getting pulled into a box. Even though this is pulsing, the repeater is keeping the piston from bouncing up and down, up and down. And as you can see, if this gets pushed up, nothing is going to lock. It's going to keep this hopper locked. And now that's done. So it has a filter item. We need to fix that. So we're going to take and put a comparator here. We'll grab two more sticky pistons. We're going to place one here. Any container with the signal in it. And then we're going to move up at a corner and do the same thing. A container with a signal in it. I recommend just signal strength 1, just to keep everything nice and easy. Then behind it, we're going to place a solid block with an observer that is pointing down and a rail system, some rails. These ones you can alternate between power. You just need to make sure that you're able to reach all the way across each one, so 9 blocks, and a dust on top of that. So now when this pulses, it's going to activate this part of the system one more time, pulling this dust out and keeping the filter intact. Hence why we have this lock here. So then, when that's done, it's going to continue pulsing other things. But yeah, so then we're going to take, and these don't have to be solid, but we are going to take and put 3 blocks in. The last one is going to be a repeater. You can add some delay to it. I do usually recommend only up to a 3 tick and a comparator with another comparator on subtract mode with a block in front of it, and your line is just going to continue going on. Then here we're just going to go down a block, and we're just going to end up making a huge line, and we're going to put dust on top of those. And that is the filtration. That is the sorter. That's the splitter itself. Now, let me pull some things out real fast. So we're going to pull you and you. So we got 2 separate hoppers. And so this first hopper is our backlog hopper. And I don't need that one, but I do need the backlog. There. And that's our backlog hopper. So, what we need to do, let me plus those because we don't need them. We need to set up for, I'm using the backlog ones. Okay, so what we need to do real fast, just so you can see, I'll show you guys what's going on. I'm just going to set up the filtration system for this. Okay, so we've got a lot of things going on. Repeater. Dust, 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 dust. Slime block and a redstone block underneath. Powering it. And now, depending on which one I do. Okay, so this is a different one, so we'll use the right one. Okay, so we got 21 items. Now, these stack, all the items that stack up to 16 are very minimal, so you don't need too much space for them. But you might want to sort them out without having to go through something else. So, this is how you figure it out if you cannot remember or you refer back. So 18, so we'll drop this down by 3, because that's how many went out of here. 3. So now, if we take this and go, boom, if I take and go stack, it's just going to filter out all the way down to 1. So you have to remove 3 from the system for it to work right. And then when we get under here, if I remove 1, 2, 3, and come back up to this top one, and go, let me just do this easy. 1, 2, 3. And grab a box. And throw in some non-stackables and some items that partially stack. And then take the box and throw it in here. As you can see, we get the beds out. And then in here, we're getting the honey bottles. So you just remove 3 from these 2 spots to make it 16, and you build the system completely separate. So I'm going to reset this to be, as soon as this finishes, reset this to be fully set for 64. And then we will And I will add a few more parts to make this where we can actually utilize the entire system. So I will be right back when I have this system built a few more times. So I will be right back. Okay, guys, we're back. And as you can see, I've got a fair number. I have a total of 8 slices, and they are set up so that they are paired together. That one has 9 slices, if I remember right. More than 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So now, there's 2 more parts to this. You have this one right here, which is the start-stop, which is our starting system and our weight holding system. And then we have our reset system. Now, it's going to be easier to build the reset system than it is to build the start-stop. So, let's see here. Which side is it? Okay. Trying to remember. Oh, yeah. It's this one right here. So, what we're going to need is 10, a total of 14 items, a barrel, and this barrel is set nearly full. Specialized barrel. 14 rails, 14 comparators, 27 dust, 2 redstone blocks, 14 blocks. I do recommend just using glass. 10 torches, 9 observers, 2 pistons, 4 hoppers, 3 target blocks, 7 sticky pistons, 4 repeaters, and 43 solid blocks. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take and place a comparator here and here after we add blocks and put this one on subtract. Then we're going to take a block and place it there and add our barrel right here, which is actually full. And then, because what's going to happen is as it gets powered, it's going to switch it. And then when it's done being powered, it's going to flip it back. So we are going to place a solid block here with a sticky piston going down and a redstone block on it. Now, if you don't want it to be extended, just throw a redstone block on there, which is one we're going to take from there. Then we're going to go down 2 and over 1. And then over here, we are going to take and place a redstone block right here with a piston there, leaving a gap. We'll throw another piston right there. A repeater, a observer with a solid block, and going down temporarily 3 blocks. Take out 2, place a sticky piston with a glass block next to it, and a solid block next to that with a torch on the side. Now we're just going to make a big line of glass. And first thing is we're going to throw 2 dust here. Then we're going to take our comparators and we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a solid block, break this, add dust here, here, and here. I actually can't believe I actually get that. And 2 more there. A glass block there, and we're just going to connect this, throw a solid block there, throw dust on this side with a 4-tick repeater right here. Now what this is going to do, if I break this block, it's going to power it all, and if I turn it back on, it's going to hold this down, waiting for this the process. And as soon as that's done, yeah, it does take a while. It's going to push it, and then we have to push it back this way at one point. So we're going to place a block here, throw a 3-tick repeater into a solid block, going into with a torch on the side, a sticky piston right next to here, like this, with a block behind it, and that's just going to hold it. And then we're just going to run a line all the way back down to here, all the way there. Then we're going to take our dust and just set it all the way down there. Then we're going to take a solid block, place it up here. Place an observer here. I don't want to pulse that just yet, because if you pulse it, you want to make sure while you're doing this, you pulse it like that, where it is in lock mode, because now I can fire this line, it'll push them all, but nothing is going to be removed from here. Because if you don't do it, you're going to break the system. Then we're going to place an observer, a sticky piston, pulling it there. And then we're going to go underneath, place a temporary block, and throw a comparator on top of that. Two temporary blocks, and then 2 more. You can take these ones out. Place a comparator here with a dust here, a solid block here, a torch here, target block here with the torch on the side going towards the repeater, and grab your hoppers and face them into each other. And in this back one, throw 4 items. So now, if I break this torch and then replace it, it's going to cause it to delay. So now what we need to do is place a block, put a repeater, set it to 4 ticks with a block behind it. And then we're going to come over here, do the same thing, 4-tick repeater, making another pulse extender. For this. So, comparator, dust, torch, and hoppers going into each other. Don't throw your items in until you can lock it. Once you lock it, throw the 10 items in there. And now this is going to reset here and there. So we're going to put a solid block here. Throw and like I said, all we have to do is power this. So let's just extend this out into here. That will reset that. So we want to reactivate that. So if this system does mess up, it's going to lock it. So you don't have to constantly reset the system. But if we throw a torch here and a repeater going down, and there, let's see here, if we throw that there, that's not enough space. We want when it is active, go this way. Well, we want it when it's active. You might do some modifications, but when it's turned on, when this one is activating and then done, is going to power this and go like that. Then, because these are in a line, all you have to do is just pull a signal off of this, solid block. Anywhere where you have a chance of powering the line, you don't want to, so just make sure that it doesn't get powered. But yeah, we're going to just run rails all the way down here. Make sure you test and see how far it goes, because if it goes too far, then you will not have a signal. But that right there makes it perfect. And I feel like dropping it down like this. And one more. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm just going to grab an observer and throw it right there. Throw it up. So now, when this activates, it will also restart the cycle over again. So we've got breaking of the boxes, resetting of these, and filtering out the items ready to go. We don't have the locking system in, so it ends right there, which is perfect. We could actually replace this with a solid, with a block. Take a repeater, a sticky piston, and an observer, and place a solid block right there. And now that is done. That will pulse that, pushing everything up, locking it, pushing everything in. Now all we have to do is take and put an observer here with a sticky piston so that we can push it up. Now, here's the tricky part. We're going to, while it's on, we want it to be extended. When it's like this, we want it to be extended like that. And when it's off, we want it to hold and what part? Oh, forgot to reset. Boom. And then when it's done like this. So now we got that reset. Now it's all reset. Now, when it comes to the item elevator, to getting the items back, how you do it doesn't matter. You could run a hopper line all the way back around everything. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And as you can see, I did it differently over there. I did it differently right here. It changes based on what you need. There is no 100% correct way of doing it. It's just get it done. Make it work. But this is how I did it this time, because it made sense to me. But when the items have to come from this chest, you can have them go immediately into a dropper to shoot up into a water bubble vader. You can have it go into a hopper line that sends everything around here. Then up here sends it into an item elevator. That is strictly up to you. So now, let me clear my inventory and we'll get on to the last part. Now, this part is the start-stop, and this part can be the most confusing of the entire system. So, but yeah, you're going to need 10 dust, 25 solid blocks, 7 sticky pistons, 4 redstone torches, 35 transparent blocks, regular blocks. Some of them are required to be transparent, some of them aren't. 8 comparators, 4 repeaters, 10 chests, 13 hoppers, 5 pieces of packed ice, and this is just for item transportation to send things into a certain area. You can combine, you don't need it, you can actually put a hopper here, hopper there, it doesn't matter. This part is just adding more in. 10 observers, 2 redstone blocks, 5 slime blocks or honey blocks, 2 droppers, 2 repeaters, 1 trapdoor, 2 powered rails, a piston, and a slab. Now the slab could actually be transferred to be a mud block, or a soul sand block, or even a honey block. That's strictly up to you. So first thing is, we're going to come here and we are going to place a block right here with a sticky piston on its face and 5 slime blocks and a redstone block there. Now we're going to take a sticky piston, throw it there, and place a repeater there, a observer there. Okay, then we're going to take and place it into a saw block with a RS NOR latch here. And check. It's supposed to. And last, no, not there. Okay. For there, and then we're going to throw a double chest, hopper going into there, double chest, solid block with the droppers coming here. Then we are going to throw a solid block here, any block here, and a solid block here. Grab a comparator. There we go. And put one here and here. Throw an item, any item you want. Let me grab a nice quick. We'll just throw a dust in there. And I'll lock this hopper, waiting for items to come in. Waiting for this to be emptied. But we're going to throw a block there. Throw a comparator. A solid block. And a solid block with a dust on it. A torch on the side of that. And below that, we're going to throw another sticky piston with an observer and a block on its face. Now we're going to grab the trapdoor. We're going to throw it on top of that. Observer pointing up, observer pointing down, and we're just going to put rails on both of them. Boom, boom, done. Okay, so now when this pops out here and pushes back, it's going to reset the system, allowing items to go from this chest into the sorter. Now we're just going to run a hopper line here, and I'm going to just place 2, 3, boom. Oh, I needed that, but that goes there. And pretty much what it is we need to have this powering so that when it's done processing, it can do things. But I'm just doing this quickly. Okay, and a solid block there because I feel like it. No. Oh, yeah, this is on the wrong side. It happens. So yeah, we're going to put it all on here. And yeah, that's good there. Double chest, hopper, comparator, repeater, set to 4 ticks going into a solid block. We can bust that out, and a comparator going here, here, with dust on all of these. And this is your input hopper. However you get them in here doesn't matter as long as you get them in here. Now, if you're only dealing with single boxes, I recommend a standard splitter. This one is not efficient enough. This is designed for if you are doing massive amounts of boxes. So keep that in mind. But then we're going to place 2 hoppers pointing in and then another hopper pointing out. And this hopper just goes wherever. This is going to be our hopper for locking it going into here. Then we are going to take our slab, throw it on top of here. We're going to grab our dispensers, and we're going to place a dispenser here. Grab our regular piston and place it right here. Now we can contain this with glass. This top one needs to go there. It has to be a solid block there, because what we're going to do is we are going to pull a signal out of it. And the reason why we have it there is so that we don't, so the items will go down here. Going on a block with a torch, put dust on top of that. Then we could take and place some temporary blocks. We could throw a repeater. No, this has to be, this is, sometimes getting the stuff placed right is the trick. So give me a second. Do we need to move it out one more? No, it shouldn't need to be. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so I've got one thing wrong. So we'll bust this. Okay, so I'll edit this out. Okay, so 2 hoppers going into there, hopper going down, and then a temporary block there, hopper going down. With this chest is your empty boxes. We're going to place a solid block here with a 2 blocks. We're going to take and place a repeater, and we're going to power it some way. Torches, redstone block, whatever. We just need to power this hopper right there. Then we're going to take a slab, put it there with a sticky piston under there. Next step is we're going to grab our glass. We're going to just encase right here, and these 2 here. Grab our dispensers, place it here. Grab a solid block, place it here. A temporary block. I'm just going to bust these out so that I can get that. And you don't have to use a bottom slab. You can use mud, honey, whatever. But we just need to get it in. Then we're going to place a solid block here with a comparator and a solid block here. Block going down, block going over, repeater, dust, torch, and change it to 3 ticks. Now, to test this, what you need to do is 1, get yourself an empty shulker and throw it in and power it. And see if it pops out. Okay. Now, take the same box, and this is just quality control. Take an item, put it in, and then dispense it and see if that piston changes. If the piston changes, you're good. So I'm going to break that. It's going to end up in here. Boom. Pull out. There we go. That's locked. Perfect. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to power this dispenser. In fact, we even need to power this piston. And we need to do it in a process. So what we're going to do is place a piston up here. We're going to leave a 2-block gap. And these are going to be stickies, because we're going to take and put an observer pointing down with the solid block an observer pointing up over a solid block and a dust. And we can take the same observer and place it there with a solid block. So now, if I take this one and put the empty in, and then power it, it will break it and send it here. Now, if I put in this one that's full, boom, boom, breaks, and goes right in here. So then all you have to do is take a hopper, put it in here, and simplest way of doing this is swap this out for a solid block, place an observer right here, glass block, or just something to place that there. And this is, like I said, however you do it is up to you. And I'm just going to throw a repeater here, and a dust right here. And then I'm gonna stand here, and then hop trap line, boom, automatic, boom, boom. And this could be glass, it doesn't have to be there, but then you just take your output from here and get it all the way to here. Again, however you do it, it's up to you. I chose water streams on that one. You can use hopper lines, dropper lines, minecart system, whatever. Whatever you want. But having something active is probably the best way of doing it. And then while things are going here, it will, now all you have to do is just take the test. And let's just take these two because I have them here. And 1, 2. Boom. Waiting for them to process, and now we have them processing. Oh, I forgot a hopper. Wait, nope. That's it. Did that? Oh, yeah, I did forget a hopper. Something weird happened. I don't make those type of mistakes normally. Okay, yeah. We got those empty boxes. They would have gone through the system and processed. And there goes our box of empty. Yeah. So yeah, those, like I said, that extra ice is specifically for items that are not ready to process. So let's run a quick test besides the one I just did. We'll take these items, throw them in, boom, and process 2 sets. And while this is processing, all you have to do, this is, like I said, this one's a test. So you can take a look and see if everything is working right. Make sure everything's timed correctly. And if you follow the tutorial, it will be. And if I wanted to, I could have everything go here. But yeah, this one is your output for full boxes, and this is your empty box slash non-stackable slash items that stack only up to 16. And I need to get more in there. So yeah, we'll just drop these here. Yeah, this system's full though. This system is getting fairly full. At least droppers all have something in them. So yeah, as you can see, it's processing just fine. I wish we could speed the tick rate up. I'm just going to pull out just so that we can let this one process faster. Boom. And we didn't have a second one. Is it in here? I thought I threw two in. Oh. Oh, I know. Apparently, I missed a hopper. Whoopsie. I miss hoppers, so yeah. Make sure you, when you build it, you don't miss some of these hoppers, or it will be so backlogged that you're like, what's going on? Okay, and since we got that one done, I'm going to start processing these three things. Clear this out, and let's take a look at our goodies. I took a stack out, and we have 3 stacks. Oh, yep. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, it does work. I just made a mistake. And it does happen. Yeah, we'll let this process. Second one. We'll just make sure that it processes without cheating, so to speak. Okay. And this is just filling in the container. And if you want it to go, if you want certain things, you'll have to time things a certain way to get it to work. If you want them to go in a certain slot, all of them have to be in the same thing. But if you're going to manually do that, you might as well manually sort it. But it's always the first item in the list. Broke, splits, and broke. And we're getting our soul lanterns now. And then we still got a box to process right here, which is empty. And that's just going to go until it can't. That's just going to go break and go to the next slot. Keep going until it either ends up in here or down here. So with this, that's the cyclic sorter. I'm sorry about the length of the video, but I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please leave a like. And I'm using X-ray to just see what's right behind me. If you guys like the video, leave a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments section. If it's a major issue, I recommend joining my Discord. The link to that being in the description. Special thanks to the Judgment for supporting me on Patreon. But if you guys do want to support me, subscribe. But you guys, this is the Redstone Wizard. Enjoy building.